Welcome to Wonderspace. It's great to have you on board. My name is Steve Cole, and over the past 69 episodes, I have been asking the same 6 questions to amazing people from around the world. The questions orbit around wonder and stories of hopefulness, and the setting for each journey is this shared window on the space station, from where we see everything from a different perspective. Before we introduce our guest this week, our friends at asknature.org are going to help us to re-wonder.
In rivers throughout eastern North America, a species of mussel puts on an impressive acting performance. In the plain pocketbook mussel, the soft tissue that sticks out of the shell looks uncannily like a small fish called a shiner, with a dark stripe down its side, an eye spot at one end, and a wavy tail at the other. A female plain pocketbook with newly hatched young will wave this bit of tissue around in the water, making it look like a swimming fish. This mimicry attracts larger, predatory fish. When one tries to eat the fake shiner, the mussel releases a cloud of microscopic young, which attach to the fish's gills, where they will draw sustenance and grow until they are ready to detach and survive on their own, carried to a new home by their unwitting hosts.
Our orbit this week will take us from Spain to Uganda, and to experience these views with us in this ultimate window seat, we welcome singer-songwriter Mysie, who is about to embark on a tour supporting Corrine Bailey Rae. Mysie was the first artist to receive the prestigious Ivor Novello Rising Star Award and was nominated for Wonderspace by Grammy award-winning producer Fraser T Smith, who engaged with our 6 questions in episode 11.
I wanted to nominate Mysie for the Wonderspace interview on the fantastic Wonderspace podcast because she's a phenomenal artist, phenomenal singer, a phenomenal human. We've been working together for over 2 years now. We started off in a mentorship program through the Ivor Novello Rising Star Award, which Mysie won, and now she's signed to my label 70 Hertz. We're about to release the second EP that we've created together, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy everything that she has to say.
The full-length interview can be heard on the Wonderspace podcast, which can be found on our website and on most podcast platforms. For this video orbit, Mysie answers 3 of our 6 questions, and I start by asking, if we could do a fly past on any part of the world that is significant to you, which place, city or country would it be and why?
Uganda, for sure. That's where I come from. That's my nationality. I actually have not been back yet, but I just know that as a person, it will be a big shift for me to go back to my roots and where I'm actually from, my family, my skeletons, like my foundations. I want to find out more about my blood and the soil and the air and the food. So yeah, super important for me. I'm a second generation immigrant, so I was born in the UK. So I've always felt like just a slight disconnect from home. The first time I get there, which hopefully will be the end of this year, will be a very special one. So started off age of 7. I got my first piano, which was a Roland, and I still have it to this day now. I'm 26. So it's been 18 years I've had this piano. The pedal's kind of broken, but you know, we're still trucking along. And I think it was at that moment when I got my first piano, I cried, and I knew that this was my life. I knew music was a part of my life. I didn't know what role it was going to play, but what I knew was that I loved piano and I loved classical music so much. And that was really the start of my musical journey. So I classically trained for a couple of years throughout primary school, throughout secondary school, and then eventually when I turned 14, I wanted to do performing arts. I think that's when I did my GCSEs, around that time, or I was preparing to do it. I chose performing arts. The teacher had heard me sing. At the time, like, I wasn't really taking singing seriously. I was kind of just singing because I liked to do it. My sister sang, my parents sang like a lot of hymns. My mum, my sister would always sing hymns and like harmonise with each other. So it was just something that was distantly there, the singing part of it. So when I did the performing arts class and my teacher heard me, she asked me to join choir, and at first I was like really apprehensive about it. I was just like, group singing, I'm not really too sure about that. But then she said, I will give you free singing lessons if you join my choir. So then I was like, okay, I don't have to pay for anything. So I took that offer, and I met my singing teacher, Emma Stevens, who is my singing teacher right to this day, right now. And through that, I just was doing gospel choir, like normal choir. And from there, the story kind of like shifted completely, where I got introduced to movement. So movement then started playing a huge part in my life. I was a crumper, which is a type of like hip hop kind of street dance style. And I met a group of people in a place called Chocodero, which is closed down now, but it was in the centre of Oxford Circus. And I was introduced by so many people, so many different walks of life. And I was introduced to so many different music, so much music that I'd never heard before, like Jay Dilla and Flying Lotus and Thundercat. These were like kind of hip hop heads, and that really changed my life and changed my view on things. And through that, I just decided that I really wanted to make music. I was with a collective of people that loved dancing to music, and then eventually a lot of those people ended up going into music. So I had a friend that went into producing, another friend that's gone into rapping as well. So we were a collective of real artists. So when this amazingness had happened, I went to the drawing board, which was my room, where I had my rolling piano. And at first I actually used to write to beats, to like instrumental beats, but there was something about it that just didn't feel like it was me. It didn't feel like it was like mine. So I just thought, oh my gosh, I've been playing piano for all my life. Why would I not compose and make something that is me and make something that is mine? So I started writing, and the first ever song that I wrote was called Mistakes, because I got heartbroken by a guy who didn't want to hug me, something ridiculous like that on my birthday. And I wrote this song called Mistakes, and I uploaded it on SoundCloud, and it did so well. At the time, I didn't take music seriously in that way. I thought it was a hobby. I didn't think I had the potential, because I just saw X Factor. I just saw the things that were like, you don't have a recording voice, but really, what did that mean ever? So it was when I got the attraction, I'd got interest from people. That's when I started to realise, you know what, I really want to take this seriously. This is really a part of my life. So fast forward to now, I completely rebranded, released a few songs, and then the pandemic happened. I entered myself for this Ivor Novello Rising Star Award, and got nominated for it. Through that, I got a mentorship with Fraser T Smith, met him, got to know him for like a year. He signed me. We've been releasing music since, and here I am today. I went into a studio, my distributor studio called Platoon, and the guy who runs it is called Denzel. He didn't run the studio, but he owns Platoon and also owned AWOL before. This is within the music industry. And one thing I noticed, which I have not noticed in many studios that I've been to since I was 17, was that the engineers were all female. And for me, that was a huge thing for me. Seeing that within the music community and seeing more females within these roles that usually would be male-dominated roles is extremely inspiring and sets an example for other studios or other establishments, other distributors, other labels, other managements, other companies that, you know, we need to see that representation. It is there. It's just whether you're finding it and looking for it and making active decisions to make those changes. And I feel like Denzel's one of those people. He's doing that. And he's amplifying women at the same time, as well as building a community. So it was a very recent thing, but I really did clock it, and it's super, super inspirational. And I really look up to that. So big up Denzel for that.
You can follow Mysie at MMMMysie. To engage with the previous 69 Wonderspace episodes, go to our website ourwonder.space. I want to thank Mysie for joining us on Wonderspace, and I hope you can join us next week for more wonders and stories of hopefulness.